just to give our a sense of something. This is Backstory with us, the American History Guys. I'm Peter Onuf, 18th century guy.
I'm Ed Ayers, 19th century guy.
And I'm Balogh, 20th century history guy.
The show is a sort of odd combination of things that you hear sometimes on public radio, but never in one program, I'd say. So we have interviews with scholars, we have interviews with non-scholars, with sort of ordinary people with some connection to that episode's topic. We have calls where listeners will phone in with questions or stories or interesting observations.
Welcome to Backstory.
Thank you very much.
Well, what's on your mind today?
Well, I was curious to know the history of Supreme Court nominations. Mm-hmm. Everyone seems to think that the controversy...
and then we sort of stitch all these things together to try to create an arc from that covers really 3 centuries of American life and sometimes more.
And so the question for my colleagues is, when did the court really begin to matter in national politics? Ed, when would you say?
Well, I would say it didn't take too long. I mean, I think the Supreme Court mattered within the purview of the first justice. Wouldn't you think, Peter, than 1819?
I actually believe that everybody makes a lot more decisions than they realize based on comparing what has happened in the past. I mean, how do you decide, where to cross the street? You know that in the past there are good places to cross the street and there are bad places to cross the street. You rely on your experience, on your history. And for most people, that experience doesn't go much farther back than their own lifetimes. And in the media, that history doesn't go much farther back than, today doesn't go much farther back than George W. Bush. So I look at it as giving people a lot more information about other options, what other people in American history have chosen to do in similar circumstances. Not that, and Peter will remind me, not that circumstances are ever the same.
Well, crossing the street in the 18th century, for instance,
since they didn't have streets.
This is about the American story. This is about people's questions about who are we, how did we get to be the nation we are, through good and through bad. And so, it's really about everyone's life is finally what these guys are talking about.
And sometimes we look into the mirror and we don't like what we see. But the government are us, as they say in the toy world.
I think we should have something like Dancing with the Stars, and the winner of that gets to be on the Supreme Court. Call in.
That's terrific. That's a great idea. You should write it out there.
That was good.